So BTC floating around 58,600. The US markets are closed, but what is important here, it's the 1st or 2nd of September. Are we in for a bit of a rough ride for September? Guys, I'm going to give you my trading plan for the month. There's a couple of things we need to watch out for in September. Is this the beginning of the end, or is this the beginning of the beginning? And I've got altcoins set up here for you guys. We have a short-term bounce at the moment. Can this bounce be trusted? We got a couple of things going on here. I've also got the 𝗕𝗟𝗪𝗓 man. He's going to tell us what the sentiment is currently for this month and this week. So we got tons to talk about here, guys. Let's get right into it. And it's Monday, so hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. Like I said, I've got a room full of people here for you guys. There's one of them. There's the other one. Permanent bull. I mean, these goggles never leave, you know, and I'm too terrified to put on the white hat at the moment. And, you know, every time I put that white hat on, things seem to go south. So we're going to keep it black. For now, we're going to keep it relaxed. Okay, we're not going to get too bullish here. Even though Banter Bubbles is giving us moon vibes at the moment, but I think we'll take anything after the rough last few days of chop. But look at this, Uni is waking up on the right hand side, 6%. Audis, I saw a little post on Twitter about that thing. That is looking interesting, 12%. That is one of Ray's little favorite bangers there. Sats 8.7, Algo 3. And yeah, you love that Audis, bro. One day that Audis is gonna come alive for us. So let's take a look. Okay, we got a quiet day today. The US is closed, but what we need to do here is just try and plan our attack at the moment. And what I've done here with BTC, I've banged out the 4 hour for you, and I've given you a full plan here that you can work on for this entire week. Hopefully these levels here are going to play out for you guys. So you can copy this chart here. This is it should hold for a week. And we never say never in crypto, but let's talk about a couple of key levels that we are watching now. So we saw this weekend, we had a nice little dump onto an interesting zone here, this 56,913. So this is our first level of support that you need to have your eyes on, 56,900. Then, if we're pushing a little bit more to the downside, big levels for me, 56K. You can see why this makes sense. Nice big liquidity zone there, nice little bounce area. And then if these guys are coming to 56, you know, why wouldn't they come and visit our 618? Now look at this juicy area here with the 618, and we've got this little liquidity zone a little bit lower down here, and this region for me is 55K. So some key levels here for you if things start falling over in the next couple of days here. 56,900, 56K, and then I to 54.5. That for me is a high conviction zone. This for me is a big area there if we do get a drop into that type of region. Now, what do we do to the upside? So we can see we've got a short-term bounce at the moment. Some of these alts are responding off very nice areas. We're going to talk about those because I gave you guys these levels on Thursday. I gave you guys these levels on Friday. If you attended class last week, you guys are going to be in a couple of trades right now. So let's see, by a show of hands or in the comments, is anybody in NEAR? Is anybody in 𝗕𝗓𝗓 and things like that? I need to know from you guys in the chats there. Now, what are we going to do to the upside? If we start pushing now, you can see BTC is currently reacting at the anchored VWAP. This is 58,700. So this for me is quite an important area for us right now. If we do get a little move through the zone, I'm looking at this 59.5. That's a first reaction zone. This is the first area where we could start sniffing around for some potential shorts and things like that, or where I would be looking around for potential shorts. So 59,500. Then we've got some interesting things up here, and I'm going to show you the tie in a couple of minutes with the liquidation chart. But this whole region from 61,100 into 62K, this is a hot zone for me. This is a big bearish zone for me, and if we do get this type of move playing out, we could get some epic rejection down into this type of region here, which is the high conviction bounce zone, the 54.5, the 55K, that sort of area there. So currently game plan upside, you know what to do. 59.5 caution, 61.1 to 62K caution up there. That's a big rejection zone. So that is the week planned for you guys on BTC. Now, these altcoins are going to have corresponding levels and rejection areas and potential bounce zones based on a lot of what you see here in front of you. So we're going to tackle a ton of this just now. And then we're going to bring in the 𝗕𝗟𝗪𝗓 expert. This is Power. He's going to give us his sentiment here on BTC. And I believe, subject to likes, okay, I believe he's got a short setup playing out for you guys that you could be taking in the next couple of days. So Where's the likes bouncer? There he is. Okay, make this man happy. If he's satisfied, we are going to give you a nice little short setup here based on what 𝗕𝗟𝗪𝗕 is telling us. So let's Ray, just monitor those likes for me. Okay, let's get into some of the news and what.
Well, hold on. Well, can we just smash them now? Let's just knock it out. I mean, they're super low now. Let's just smash the likes, guys.
Come on, smash the like. Smash the likes. We got news, we got setups, we got so much stuff coming up for you guys. Come on, it's Monday. And I know you guys are on holiday. I know a lot of you Americans, they are just chilling, drinking some beers and stuff. And, hit the likes, hit the likes. Okay, let's go. This man, and I can't read the top line, but his @ is Follis, okay? He's saying annoying PA on BTC. Now, who is feeling this way currently with this current situation? He says, run the lows, shitty bounce, repeat, okay? This seems to be the order of the day. For the last couple of weeks, it's been absolute pain for anybody looking for a bigger move than, say, 3 or 4% on some of these altcoins. Wow. They are really sorting us out here, and they really testing our patience. Now, remember, these are the types of moments where they try and flush you out to complete boredom, and then they send this thing up. So if you are still around, you're still trading stuff, you're still hanging around, you guys are good. Okay, hang in there, because when things change, it's going to change pretty quickly for us. So he's basically saying impossible to long here with conviction when another sweep seems imminent each time. Now, remember, this is what they designed to do. They're designed to wear us down. They're designed to cause this type of frustration and pain. They want everyone to go away. Okay, then they're going to come back. Then they're going to send it up. Then they want people to come back when we have these God candles, when BTC is printing 5% in a day, 10% in a day. Then they want you guys to come back in. So just remember, be resilient, stay here, and keep cracking on. Okay. What are we watching this week? Why is September so massive for us? Now, everybody knows we've got the rate cuts coming. Okay, I think that's locked and loaded, the rate cuts. Maybe there's a debate on the size of the rate cut, but that is coming on the 18th of September. So that is an interesting one for us. That for us is a big number. Okay, my theory here is we still get some kind of push from BTC into the rates cut. Okay, then we might have some short-term dumpage, and then I would say after that, once the dust settles, then we can start cruising. So currently the big number for us is 18th of September. Then we do have some other market movers. Look at this. 10th of September, US presidential debate. Yes. Okay, 11th of September, CPI data. Now, everybody knows we're getting a rate cut, so maybe the market is going to react depending on what the CPI looks like, because they're going to start placing bets as to how big the rate cut's going to be. PPI, yes, we know about it. And then look at that, 29th of September. Now, wouldn't this 29th of September with a CZ release date be very spicy? Okay, if we get our little sell-off on this rates cut, okay, then we start pumping and we start turning bullish into the end of September, and suddenly CZ comes out. Guys, let's not take our eyes off BNB. Okay, that could be an absolute banger. That could be a big mover for us in September. And I would say, Ray, we need that one. BNB, we need this thing on the watch list pretty urgently. Now, there is one more date, and if you guys saw my tile, we got to get this BNB, bro. We're going to watch this thing. There's one more important date for us here, and that is the 5th of September. Now, I'm going to talk about this just now, because that might have some kind of relevance or not. Okay, we're going to take a look at that in a couple of minutes. Now, what did I say today? Oh, I'm talking about miners here, okay? So Bitcoin miners, they saw their lowest revenue since September 23 in August 2024, okay? So the miners, are these guys capitulating here at the moment? We did see Ali Charts posting that the miners sold 2,600 BTC this weekend. Look at that. They came to ruin your weekend. Why can't these guys sell it during the week when there's tons of volume and things like that floating around? But they came to punish everybody here on the weekend. So they dumped 2,600 BTC on the weekend. Maybe it could be a sign, okay, that the miners are getting tired here as well. And then this was an interesting tweet from Mags that he was talking about. He's saying, is September a bearish month? Now, you guys have seen the data. I've shown you various charts and things like that telling us that I think the last chart we looked at was 8 out of 11 Septembers were actually bearish since BTC has been around. It finished relatively red. And Mags is saying, is September a bearish month? He says, we all know Bitcoin has been stuck in a long consolidation phase for a few months. The sideways PA began in March, still ongoing. And he's saying back then the consolidation also started in March. Now, this was last time. Okay, look at his nice little chart over here. And he's saying over the next 7 months, BTC pumped 195%. So is this the final hurdle? Okay, is this the final little bit of chop that these guys are going to give us? Are we going to eventually get to Valhalla here at the end of September, or is this going to continue? So if we take a look at what happened last time, this time, yes, could be different, but I remember feeling pretty much the same last year. Okay, last year around about this time, it was pretty dark out there, and it was very tough trading conditions. And then things did flip really quickly, and we started having a little bit of fun. Now, here's something else, a big month, as you guys know, and Seth Golden is talking about what happens after the first rate cut. Okay, for now he's talking about all the rate cuts. Now, you guys have seen, I've shown you a couple of examples previously where the S&P actually fell over quite drastically, but he's given you guys a nice explanation here. He's saying 12 months forward. Now, this guy's looking at bigger pictures. So he's not looking at like what happens the day after the rate cut or what happens when the rates are cut. He's taking a bigger picture view, and he's saying 18 out of 22 times, or 82%, the S&P actually pushed up. So he's saying if there's no recession, the average drawdown is minus 4%. If there is a recession, the average drawdown is minus 16%. Okay, that's the total downside. But then this thing actually finishes up 18 out of 22 times. So that is an interesting point here for longer term investors. He says average gain without a recession is 11%. Average gain even with a recession is 8%. So long-term investors, you guys, okay, you guys are good, okay, regardless of what's going to happen here. You're getting an 8% or an 11% move on your long-term S&P situation. And what else did he say? He says you are afraid of losing time, not money. And timing the market is the enemy of the average investor and the tool of the fool. Okay, here's a nice little chart that he's given you guys that you can look at. So take a look at this, and you can see what he's talking about. But basically what they're saying is long-term, the S&P is good. Okay, hang in there with the S&P. And then just for those of you interested in a recession or not, and if that stat means anything to you, basically the odds of a recession are now at 25%. They've gone up from 20%. Valerie, hello, welcome, thank you. Happy Monday to you. So that is a nice little guide there for you guys. So it doesn't look that dangerous at the moment. And then I thought I wanted to do a little exercise for you guys with my view for the end of September, for this rate cut. I said to myself, let me look at this Forbes Advisor website here. Let's look at what happened when the Fed cut rates in 2019. Let's look what happened when the Fed cut rates in 2020, just for an example here, just to get our heads around what actually happens when they cut the rate. So I did a couple of little charts here for you guys. First one at the top you see is the S&P, and the one underneath is BTC, and they both daily charts. So let's just go back a little bit in time. So the first rate cut that the Fed did it was August, 1st of August, 2019. Okay, nice little example here. The S&P dropped 6.6% that day. Okay, well, the next day. Okay, it started dropping 6.6%. What did Bitcoin do? It actually pushed up 19%. So that's an interesting one. Then we had another rate cut from the Fed on the 19th of September. The S&P dropped 5.6%. What did Bitcoin do? It floated around for a couple of days, and then it actually dumped 28%. So that's an interesting one to me as well. Then there was another rate cut from the Fed on the 31st of October, and we had an upside move on the S&P of around about 12%, and Bitcoin actually fell over 29%. Okay, so there you go. There's some information there. And then COVID. Now, this is a proper outlier, naturally. We know that was a little bit dramatic, what was going on there. But when they cut rates the first time on COVID, we dropped 21% on the S&P. What did Bitcoin do? It pushed up for a couple of days, then it had a dump. So it had a small little bounce for a few days. I mean, it's like 5 or 6%. But then after that, there was quite a big dip on BTC of around about 58%. But that was COVID-related things. Then the next time the Fed cut was also during COVID. That was on around about the 16th of March, and we had a 14% dump there. And on that dump, we actually had a pump on BTC. So BTC actually started recovering. So a little bit decoupled here if we take a look at the last few examples. But if we look at the S&P, we can safely say, okay, the last 5 times they cut rates, it only went up once. Okay, the other times there was a short-term little fall over on the markets. Now, obviously, this time could be different. Yes, obviously, we know that. And, we do have an election coming up and things like that. And macro conditions are kind of teeing up for a nice bullish October, November, December, that type of thing. So my current thesis here is push into a rates cut, okay, in the markets. Then we dump a little bit, couple of days, maybe a week, things like that. Then I'm calling a little recovery there on the markets, and then a little bit of a push up. Okay, and I stand to be corrected, right, naturally, but that is what I'm planning on at the moment. And let's see how that is going to play out. So just a reminder, you concur. Thank you. The man concurs. And Power Friend, I'm getting a thumbs up. I think he might concur as well. Concurrence. Okay, and here's the S&P on the daily. So no action in the US today. So nothing's really going on here at the moment. And you can see we are sitting at a double top scenario. What does this mean for us? Well, I mean, there'll be a ton of traders trying to short this double top currently. My suspicion here is that we start getting some kind of squeeze on the S&P leading into the 18th, and then we get a nice little sell-off that I expect will get bought up relatively quickly. Okay, so that is my current situation for September. We'll play this week by week, day by day. We'll move in, once we have more information, we can start making more decisions. But that is my current game plan. Let's see how that is going to play out. Okay, so BTC, you've done. Let's look at some liquidation levels on BTC as promised. And this is my one-day liquidation map just to show you guys again. Correlation, yes, 61K to the upside. Nice little level to the downside. Pretty interesting here. We've got a cluster up to about 55,600. Then we've got another cluster down to 54,900. But the big one for me has got to be the 61K level. Let's just see where that is at the moment. And that takes us into this little region up here that I've highlighted, and that is also very close to a current CME gap that hasn't quite been filled. Okay, look at this one. Here is our CME gap, and we tried to fill this thing. Look at this. It rejected off the 50-day MA on the CME, but we do have a minor gap here up to 61,800. That is an interesting zone. So that ties in with that upside level there as well that I've given you. So something to look forward to. If we do get some pumpage on the CME, that could be another scenario playing out quite nicely for us. Now, let's talk the 5th of September. Why was I saying 5th of September on my tile? Was it designed to scare you guys? Well, Victor gave us a chart. Look at this thing. Okay, Victor says September 5th is coming soon. Are you ready for another traumatizing event? Guys, I'm tired of getting traumatized on the 5th of every month. Look at this chart. On the 5th of July, they came to kill us. Okay. On the 5th of August, they came to kill us. Okay. We are 3 days away. Are these guys going to do it again? Are they going to give us some kind of capitulation candle again? Ray wants to go higher. Okay. Ray, you can go higher. Let's see what power.
I think Max Payne is up. Max Payne is up.
We like to say that, okay? But I'd love them to make Max Payne up because I'll be locked and loaded, bro. Can they please stop trying to end us, sending us down? Let's see what Power Friend has to say. Now, this is our easy algo expert, okay? This is the man. He looks at monthly trends. He looks at weekly trends and things like that. Talk to me about
BTC.
The market. What are we doing? What's going on?
We all play with BTC the same way. We all look at it the same way, and you're preaching to the choir. Our entire community's feeling the exact same way. When the monthly pivot printed on Saturday and the weeklies yesterday, everything's saying exactly what you're thinking. September, we're going to get one more little Max Payne pull down, shakeout. Everybody's going to panic, leave the market. But we know in our classes and courses, if price is going down, retail is selling, institutions are buying. The reason they're buying is because they're going to want to sell it for higher, which is that last desperation move before we go to Valhalla. We start the bull run and off we go. We're expecting it. We're seeing it. We know it. We're excited for it. We're tired of waiting since April of this crap sideways stuff. We're just get it over with. Hurry up.
We've been waiting. Okay, talk to me about you had an important event this weekend. You had your monthly pivots printing on Saturday. Then last night you had your weekly pivots. So, right. I mean, these are two big events for you guys, the monthly and the weeklies. Absolutely. And this gives us the trend or the trend idea for the next show, for the next week, or for the next month. So talk to us about what you're seeing there. I'm going to pull your screen up here quickly and tell us what the magic is saying.
Well, the truth of the matter is, only 19% of tokens were above the monthly, and we had just under 100 narrow or super narrow monthly pivots. So all of that speaks to exactly what we're talking about. We're going to get major move somewhere this month on most tokens, and the fact that they're starting price underneath the monthly means it's a bearish sentiment overall so far coming into the month. But that makes us excited because, again, pain is going to be over. We're expecting this last quarter to be as well as it's been. Coming into September, usually the market is down 4%, and then you go into October, November, you're up 100, 200, 300%. And it's been that way every cycle, and everything's playing out exactly as the indicators are sharing with us. This is our Scanner X app. It allows us to very quickly identify. You wake up in the morning, open your phone every 15 minutes. We're updating. You can go in and take a look at any tokens, determine what's above or below each pivot. Choose your asset, and it's going to tell you where to trade and how to trade it each and every time. And everything is looking the same. Monthly down, monthly down, monthly down, tighter as before. That means we're going to get a bigger move to the downside on that monthly if you see it from the previous. And one more wick down, that last hit, and we're going to be moving the other way.
What token is this? Is this BTC?
This was ERGO. I pulled the first thing that came up. Sure, yeah,
let's see what you're looking at on BTC currently.
Absolutely.
Let's tap into 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓 brains here.
There we go. BTC again, same scenario. You're seeing that monthly pivot, that trend down, much more narrow than the previous month. So as we saw that drastic move come through when we had below before, we're down again, which again indicates you're going to get a similar move sometime at this point in the month to hit that or below. But it ties in with what everybody's saying. We haven't hit the yearly open. We've got a big fair value gap at 45. Just everything is playing the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. Well, the yearly open was 42.
That is a deep burn, boys. Okay, so guys, here's the information. Okay, and just looking at the regular charts as well, the way I look at things, it makes perfect sense if they want to come and do a double bottom on BTC. So that's 49k, give or take, maybe a push to 48. That is on the table. And then naturally, once you get to that area, you need to start looking lower just in case they're going to send it lower. So, it is on the table here, quite simply for us. And, so this monthly now that we've opened below, it's telling us you're looking for shorts now for the foreseeable couple of weeks. Okay, I get you. You've got a short setup here for us.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw a super narrow pivot on Beam when it opened up, and it immediately started to react off that. So the idea is, again, we use monthly, which is the red, the daily for our entries on the lower time frames. It already touched the daily, which is what would be our entry based on a candle confirmation. If we see a retest on that daily at 0.0134, then I would enter that short. If we break clearly below the previous week, the previous day low at 0.012, that's also another entry. So targets are entries as far as we're concerned. So when we look at a short, we enter off the daily pivot. We can enter on support 1, we can enter on support 2, we can enter on support 3, and they're also the targets. So looking at Beam, it's looking like with that super narrow of a pivot, weekly previous, you're just sitting on the weekly support 1. It breaks that, take that short, enter it. Your stop loss, put it near the previous pivot, or you put it near the pivot, and away you go. We don't see it breaking that.
The stop loss. Will you just give us that stop loss and that entry amount? So just Can you zoom in a little bit here for us?
Yep,
so let's
absolutely.
Just zoom in, and then we can give everybody an idea as to what we're looking for.
For sure. So if you're playing on the higher time frames, and you say you're playing with a larger dollar value, you like to do your swing trading, this would be the setup. You break the weekly S1 at 0.131. Put your stop above the bottom of the weekly pivot at 0.138, and you're good to go. Because it invalidates the trade if we break the pivot. If we're coming back this way, you're done. If you're more of a scalp trader, you want to play on the other side of it, and you want to play it a little more narrow, your entry is going to be either here at 0.1346 on the daily pivot, with again invalidation at halfway through the daily pivot. If you miss that bounce and you want to take another shot at it, you see it break, which is where we're about now. You see that break the previous day low, and then again your stop at the bottom of the daily pivot. So we already tested it once. We see a retest, that's your best entry. But if you see it come low, if you want to take a shot at it, breaking this way is with candle confirmation is also a good opportunity.
Okay, lovely, guys. So there you go. There's an easy algo setup for you guys in validation, nice and clean. Okay, let's get this posted. Maybe post this one on your Twitter. What is your Twitter handle here? Let's pull this. Let's pull this up here.
At Real Easy Algo.
Okay, let me just let's pull this up here quickly for you guys. We just want you guys to be able to reference this somewhere. Okay, so follow at 𝗲𝗟𝗓𝗕 there. They'll drop some info there at 𝗲𝗟𝗓𝗕. Follow the man, follow the pivots, and they do this thing on Sunday nights called the Pivot Party. If you like parties and pivots, you guys know where to go.
We like I said, we had once again over 70 plus people. It was a different one last week, and this was a big indicator for us. When the bot printed, normally each week we get about 70 to 100 tokens in the entire market that we can consider a narrow weekly pivot. The last time we had a minimal amount was when BTC went to 49 on August 4th, which was my birthday. We only had 3 narrow pivots on that day. 3. We would normally see 100. We got 3.
Smashing you on your birthday. Okay. Algo, there's a link in the show description. If you guys are interested, 3-day free trial. That still stands, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Get in there. We also have the free leverage calculator. I believe Ray has been sharing that with you guys. That leverage calculator saves everybody all day.
Okay, lovely, bro. Thank you for your info, guys. Follow the real easy Algo. That's where you get some of these guys.
One more thing, if I could, we are doing a workshop. If you can share my screen, we are doing a workshop on September 14th. Absolutely free. You're going to get to meet myself, Seth, Pramod, Crypto Crisp, all the trainers in the back. Understand it a little more, get to see what it is in full depth. We don't have a lot of time on a lot of the shows to be able to share everything. Seth does his best on Sheldon's show. I do my best hanging out with you every Monday. If you really want to see how it works, free of charge, spend some time with us. Join us September 14th. It's easyalgoindicators.com/webinar. I'll get the link to Ray. You can drop it for you guys in the chat. Come join us and see how it really works.
Drop it on the Twitter. Okay, Power, we're gonna crack on. Okay, thanks for hanging, guys. You'll see him again. You'll see him again next Monday. Okay, we'll give us another update. Now let's get into some business. Let's get into the juice. And see what is what. Okay, so BTT on the daily, we've covered that. Okay, we've covered the sentiment, those type of things. Let's look at a couple of altcoin scenarios here. This one here for me is total 3. Okay, this is important stuff, and this tells us the total altcoin market excluding BTC and ETH. And the last time we actually looked at this thing, we were trying to ride this guy up to the channel highs, and you can see something as simple as a little channel here playing out perfectly for us. And just looking at this picture and with the current sentiment that we are seeing at the moment, doesn't that tell you that this thing could easily come and track down now according to that plan? And we're looking at about this 481 region, which ties in with a nice little 618. So right now, first move is complete. We pushed into the rejection area. It's reversed now. And that for me is now a journey to these lows. Double bottom play here. Is that a double bottom on Sol? Is that a double bottom on 𝗲𝗓, on all these other tokens? Or are they going to send us a little bit lower? So that remains to be seen. But right now, total 3, great little chart that you guys can watch. And right now tracking down. We naturally want to hold this 480 billion level here. We want to see that one hold for us and give us a decent bounce off there. And that might be the end of that little capitulation that some of the guys have been talking about. Dominance, you know the drill. This thing is currently the most boring chart in history. This is dominance on the weekly, and it's been pretty tight. Okay, so no real changes. We've had Bitcoin pretty much ranging, and we've had these altcoins pretty much just chopping you in and out on a daily basis here. And dominance for me hasn't moved now since we pushed into this on the 22nd of July. Okay, so we've had over a month here of dominance just floating around, not doing much. Just remember, altcoin traders, a nice strong dominance rejection is the one that helps the altcoins. Right now, we are in the rejection zone, so that is still applicable to me. If we do get a push on dominance, that is our next rejection area where we get altcoin relief. So 60% is the next big one where we can get some altcoin relief. Okay, let's look at a couple of altcoins. ETH, no changes. Actually looks okay today relative to some of these others, but holding our 618. So ETH traders, no changes yet from last week. 2,380, that is our support level we're watching currently, and we do have the double bottom play for us, 2,100. So no changes on ETH. I'm still sitting in an ETH position. What could this look like? It could easily look like something along those lines, and then we get a push here. So 2,100 right now for me. I'm banking on the 2,100 holding on any sell-offs and any things like that. That ties in for me on a double bottom on BTC. That ties in naturally double bottom on ETH and double bottom on that total 3 chart that I've just shown you. So that for me is what we're watching. Naturally, if we start losing that trend, we deal with that accordingly. But for me, it's a buy 2,100 on ETH if we get it down to those areas for at least a bounce in that type of zone. So that is, that is what we're looking for. Worst case scenario, some kind of bounce there. Now, let's talk about SOL. Okay, a lot of abuse lately as well. And this is SOL on the 12 hour. Now, I gave you guys tons of levels last week. Okay, and I actually need to know, this is very important to me that you guys watched my show last week, Thursday, Friday. I gave you these areas. Let me know in the chats who took NEAR, who took 𝗬𝗓𝗓, who took SOL, who took some of these others, because we've hit a lot of these zones. So here is SOL, and again, moving into our reaction area. Now, these zones that I put together for you guys aren't necessarily Valhalla zones, but they are reaction areas. These are the zones where you can chop around. I see where we got Clark saying chop, 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 where we can look around for structure in these types of areas. Then you can play little trend breaks. You can add to these things, and sometimes you get these short-term bounces off these areas, especially if we are in a downtrending market. And right now for me, SOL, you can see we have moved off our reaction area. This was the 130 region that we were looking at. And now there's potentially a couple of short setups for you guys if we do get a little bit of market strength. Now, remember what I like to see for a trade. I like to see a big green candle push into a hot zone, or I like to see a big red candle dump into a hot zone. Okay, that's where I shine. That's where I get my levels. That's where I get a lot of my action. So you can see what's happened here. SOL has dropped into 618. It's now reacting in that area, number one. Now, if we do get a push higher from Solana, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a reaction in one of our reaction zones. Now, that is, for me, is 140. That's area number one that I'm watching at SOL. So that could be a short opportunity here, number one for you on SOL. Round about this 140 region we are looking at. If we do get a little bit of a bigger push now on the market. Now, again, the US market is thin today. It's not open. Okay, so they can play tons of games here with us on some of these coins. If they do, for some reason, get super aggressive with us, I've got another banging region here for you, 148. Okay, that's your next rejection area. That is the next area you are hunting for potential short setup. So right now, if you grab SOL around 129, 130, that sort of region, you're sitting in a position, you're good. Okay, you can raise that stop now. You can de-risk a little bit. Let this thing play out. If it does get aggressive, your next potential trade is most likely going to be a short, 140 to 148, somewhere in that region for me. And then that could potentially start bringing us lower. That could be the trigger that takes us then back to these double bottom plays that we're talking about, and maybe this push for SOL down to the 107 region. Okay, we got a lot of liquidity here that we can come and clean out quite easily, and it would be unusual if they come and end this all in one straight line. You tend to get some kind of bounce along the way if we are pushing down. But just like Clark says there, chop, chop, chop. And let's see, Crypto says, just joined. Did Dylan speak about FTM? You are in luck, bro. FTM is one of the charts I have for you guys today, so that is coming in hot for you guys. Let's go. I want to show you this. Okay, now I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but what I'm trying to do here is say, okay, guys, you got to watch the show daily. If you are watching the show now in these bearish market conditions, you are ahead of the curve. Okay, remember, all the retail guys are going to come back. You've got your entries. You guys are cooking. You guys are flying. You're going to be selling to these guys later on. So congrats if you are watching the show and you are putting time in now on crypto. Okay, this is the best time to be doing it. Not when Bitcoin's at $90,000. Not when ETH is at 4.5K or SOL is at 250. Now's the time to be doing the work. Now's the time to be learning and sharpening up your TA and getting these types of entries and just figuring out how we do these things. So I wanted to play you guys this video. Ray, will you let me know if you can hear the sound quickly for me? I just want to mute the soundtrack here. Ray, let me know if you can hear this. There. So if you want to try something, try it lower down. Let this thing come to you. Even a little play down here. This is NEAR into that region, and then a quick little recovery on NEAR. I think that would look pretty good to me. And again, we're not getting greedy. Okay, you can see we're in. Okay, so this was a Friday. Okay, this was the show on Friday. You know, the market was looking tempting, like it wanted to bounce, but we were saying we're looking lower. Okay, we're looking lower for NEAR. So let's bang out this NEAR chart here and see where we are. Look at that. Okay, it's absolute science here playing out for us. And NEAR's dropped into our box zone, and that is where you guys are waiting for your basket. That is where you're waiting for your potential entries on NEAR. Now, if you were sharp enough and you were watching the show on Friday, you would have seen we got these reactions in these areas here on NEAR, and now this thing is locked and loaded. Okay, and now you have a potential of a move higher up, and you can see what's going on here with NEAR. So right now, there's no new long entries on NEAR right now. Okay, this thing could still absolutely fail and could still send you lower. That is why we spend so much time focusing on these high impact zones and getting these entries in these type of regions here before they start pushing higher. So what happens now with NEAR? If we start pushing higher, you can see I've got a reaction zone here for you, 4.164. Let's just clean this up. So we're looking for something like this. If we get something bullish out of this market, just like you saw, Powers being set up there, potential short setup, that could be happening quite quickly on some of these altcoins. So area number one on NEAR, 4.16, looking for a rejection up there. If we do get a pump into that, then anything can happen once we go down. Here's our double bottom play, lower down. Okay, that's floating around about 3.1. That is still on the table. If we do get a little bit more aggressive, for NEAR, we're looking at 4.37. That is your next potential short zone. That is your next potential TP zone on NEAR. Now, again, like I was saying on the show, we're not trying to get greedy, okay? We're just looking for little bounces of good reaction zones. This is where we can capitalize and jump into some of these altcoins. So that entry is now gone, okay? So now you got to let this thing play out. You either want to see the green candle push into 4.16 or push into 4.37. That could give you a short opportunity. Alternatively, you're waiting for another dump, you're waiting for another sell-off to drop into one of these baskets. So NEAR is one of the trades that I said I was going to take on Bitfunded, and here it is. This happens every time. Okay, so on my show on Friday, I said I'm going to take either Arweave or NEAR as my potential Bitfunder trade. So I jumped into NEAR. I ladded into a NEAR position here. You can see it is over here. And now it's loaded in on Bitfunded on phase one. So I've got this NEAR position loaded here. We can raise these stops shortly and just try and de-risk this thing as much as possible. Remember, Bitfunded, you are trading with other people's money. And what you do is you send them $49 or $99. They give you a demo account, 5K or 10K. You pass phase one, 8%. You pass phase two, 5%. Then they give you an actual account, and you can keep 80 to 90% of the profits that you make. Okay, so I'm trying to make 8% here on NEAR on this trade. So I need to make approximately, I think it was $800 that I need to make here on this account, and then they'll give me phase two. So that is the current game plan there. Then let's look at the next one that I gave you guys. Let's just cover this. This was Arweave, but for some reason I kept calling this thing NEAR, but this is Arweave. Better zone here on NEAR. You can see this RSI is drifting lower as well, and we are slowly moving into an area of interest. What does that look like? It could easily look like that. Okay, we could still have a little bounce in the interim. Look at the structured selling here, how they've been doing these little bear flags here as they go down. So I would expect something similar on NEAR. Okay, I kept calling it NEAR. Forgive me. I don't know why it's called. Maybe because I look at 5,000 charts a day. But anyway, that was Arweave, and absolute little banger. Look at this. Okay, and again, we're just playing high impact zones. We're playing high conviction areas here, and this thing plays out exactly what we were looking at. And it's something as simple as getting confluence on a 618 and some horizontals here in play for us. And you know, the crypto gods playing in our favor again, hitting another hot zone. Okay, so if you manage to jump into this one, you guys are now cooking. So you can actually de-risk your position now. And what we're looking at now for Arweave, if we do get a little bit more of a push here, a little bit bearish still, okay, on a lot of these alts, you can see tons of these alts have lost these rising trends. Okay, so we need to just read the room here. We need to read the situation and say, naturally, yes, we've got Bitcoin below the monthly pivots looking bearish. We've got Bitcoin below the weeklies. What does this mean for these altcoins and things like that? Well, we need to play it safe. Okay, we're clearly in a downtrend. So if you do get these pushes up into these types of areas, you're looking at reactions at 22. You're looking at a reaction here at 23. Okay, naturally, if we start breaking through big areas like this and start holding these types
Can we get a reaction on the likes though? Hold on. Can we get a reaction on the likes?
Right. I'm busy teaching shit here. Come on. Okay. Likes for the man in the goggles, the likes bouncer, and likes for the content, and just keep him happy. You know, I'm terrified of him. We don't want to upset him. You can see he gets very angry. Okay, so naturally, when do we turn more bullish on things like Arweave? Well, if you dialed in, okay, 15 minutes, 1 hour, you can turn bullish on tiny little trend breaks and things and grow that position as you go higher. Alternatively, when you start breaking key horizontal levels and things like that and getting some kind of structure above these areas, yes, then we can start getting slightly more bullish on these things and start looking for bigger targets. But right now for me, short-term bounces, short-term gains, and if you don't want to look for shorts and things like that, just take profits, okay, at these types of zones. And then ultimately we get these pullbacks and we get these other bounces on these types of areas again along that journey, okay, while it's going down. Eventually, one of these key reaction zones is actually the bottom of the move, okay, and then things can get really exciting there for us. But we might have to start tracking multiple levels lower down. But just remember, for the leverage traders out there and things like that, you do get reactions on these zones. You do get bounces on these areas. It's very seldom that they do take you down in one straight line. But, here's an example. They did, okay? They came. They smashed. Okay, so let's see, how these guys play this one. But right now for me, 𝗬𝗓𝗓, nice little play here, keeping it super simple, TA, 618, horizontals, waiting for the moment, looking for structure, and then jumping into that one over there. So key levels now for 𝗬𝗓𝗓 to the downside, 20.4, eyes on that. Then I do have an interesting zone here. So mark this one on your charts as well. If we do get a little turnaround now in the next couple of days, 19.5. Okay, that you could look for something similar as well on 𝗬𝗓𝗓, 19.5, and then lower down, 18.5. Okay, those should typically give you a similar type of setup that you've just seen playing out now that I gave you guys on Friday. So look out for those types of areas. Always nice little scalps in those zones. Okay, so 𝗬𝗓𝗓 smashed. Okay, covered that one. And then let's talk Popcat. So again, another little setup here for us. No, nothing too complicated that we stuck in here. And Popcat, what did it do? It's hit our trend. It's hit our 100-day moving average. It's hit our 618, and it's hit our anchored VWAP in this region. So you can see Popcat, we had a nice little sell-off here from these highs, nice little sell. And what did they do? Move into a nice reaction zone for us, and then they start sending this thing a little bit higher. So what is the next game plan now for Popcat? Well, again, you've lost the entry is gone. Okay, this was the best entry now was probably earlier this morning or yesterday, perhaps now on this hot zone. Now we have to be a little bit more patient. What are you looking for? You're looking for some kind of push up into a rejection area that I've highlighted here. This is zone number 1, 0.63. That could be an interesting zone for us there. And then a little bit higher up, 0.69. Okay, that is also another reaction zone for me in that region. So just exercise a little bit of caution here on Popcat. And, if you're not long already, there's no need to go long now. Okay, just keep it safe, keep it real, and, let this thing play out. So big support here for you guys, 0.53. That is what you're going to be watching. You can see I'm in a small little Popcat trade here at the moment, just trying to get a little scalp going and looking to TP at this 0.629 level. Somewhere in that area, we're jumping out of that thing. Then we can potentially look for a couple of shorts there on Popcat. So right now, you can see the game plan. It's across the board here. And you can see the current sentiment. Maybe, this overly bearish sentiment here from me could be a blessing. Okay, maybe this is going to turn into a mega pump for us, and maybe it's as good luck as my white hat is. So let's see how we go. But good bounces off good support so far. Now we're looking for a couple of sells. I've got some more charts for you guys. The next one is Phantom that you guys were looking for, and you can see similar reaction zone here for us. I see Fran is looking for some Phantom. Now remember, guys, what you need to do at the end of every show, okay, this is working very nicely. At the end of every show, drop the token that you want me to chart for you after the show. Okay, Ray looks at them and then he gives them to me. He tells me, okay, here's Peppy, here's Phantom as well coming up for you guys. So just drop in the comments after the show. So here is the game plan currently for Phantom, and it looks pretty similar to tons of these other altcoins. Okay, you can see we've lost our rising trend, and look at this amount of chop. Okay, if you're trying to leverage trade this thing, you're just getting slapped around like an old fish. Just whipping you around here. And, it's the common play on a lot of these altcoins. So again, playing safe here, looking for moves down to these low levels, 0.39 for me. That is your support on Phantom. This is typically where you get some kind of move if it is going to push higher up for us. So upside for me, Phantom, guys, 0.45. Next one, 0.48. Those type of levels there, look out. Okay, if we push into those areas, those are bear zones. These are potential short areas that you need to pay attention to. And then to the downside, you can see, we actually front ran this 0.39 level a little bit, but I would say wait for the big one. Okay, at some point we come to the 618. Okay, that is where you're going to get that type of move that I've just shown you on 𝗬𝗓𝗓 or Popcat or those type of things. Wait for the 618. 0.365. So set your alarms now. Okay, look for this region. At some point, this is going to play out for us. And we're going to get this little structure here. We're going to get this nice little bounce. So it's going to look something along these lines here. We're just going to drop it in. You're going to look for structure in that area. So this could take many days to come to this region. And then this is typically what you're going to look for. You're going to look for a small little bounce there on Phantom. You're going to grab little bites of this thing as it drops into these areas. Then you're going to zone in 15 minutes, 1 hour candles, those type of things. And you're going to look for trend breaks and things like that you can add to the position. And then you're going to ride this thing to, little level by level zones. So here's the first one. Then you're going to push it up to, say, your range high there at the 50-day MA and things like that. So right now, watching 3928, watching 365. Both of these are areas you're looking for some kind of structure there on Phantom. And then AVAX. Okay, look at this. Same story as Phantom. Okay, we've lost our rising trend. Things are looking bearish, okay? And what happens when things are bearish? Well, you often get trend retests and things like that. So what I want to do here is just flip this chart over for you guys and just give you a little explanation as to what I'm saying. So you can see we've lost our rising trend on AVAX. We are currently bouncing off a reaction zone. Okay, this was an area we marked on Sniper Club last night. This was a hot zone. On Sniper Club, we do private Zoom sessions Sunday night. Is one of our biggest Zoom sessions that we do on the Sniper Club. It's me and DJ and Dave, the Bybit competition winner. We plan our week. We look at setups and tee things up for the week. And AVAX was one of the ones we gave. We gave an entry on AVAX yesterday, and this 21.3 was the hot zone. So you can see it played out beautifully here, dropped into our zone. Now we got to let this thing play out a little bit. You have your support marker for AVAX. Right now, your low is your support that you can watch, and that is 21.15. So looking for a bit of structure in this region, and then ultimately some kind of push higher. So, if we do get that push higher, we're going to look for some kind of rejection in these areas. And the best way just to get your view right or your mind right when looking for these types of shorts, you can view it just this way. Okay, so if we get some kind of bullish trend break, you can see we've broken this trend nicely. Now we are typically looking for a retest, and that would play out into a nice little short. So what does a retest look like? Anything into one of these types of areas here for us on AVAX. So let's just flip that back. Bang. And that's how you can sort of figure out some of your short zones. I see Bandit says Sunday, the best Zoom. Okay, so 22.8, rejection zone. 23.76, rejection zone. These are potential short areas that you guys can start playing if we're going to get a move lower. And then the same principle, you can see AVAX is below the 50-day MA currently. If we start breaking these types of areas and start getting structure up here, you're going to see it. Okay, and you're going to know about it because we're going to be looking for longs and things like that in those types of zones if we're getting trend breaks and stuff like that. But right now, we're playing safe. Okay, you can see we've lost the trend. We're playing cautiously. And if you are riding these things up, make sure you are taking profits in the correct zones. Now, I took an AVAX long here on ZoomX at the moment. So you guys know I've got tons of exchanges that I trade with, and they all in my shopping list here at the bottom. And ZoomX is actually a KYC free exchange. There's no KYC. You need an email address, and if you're in the States, you need a VPN. And then you're cooking. You send some crypto there, and then you can trade leverage. So ZoomX is there. It's second from the top. You can see Prime XBT as well. WeX, all the stuff that I use is here in the shopping list below. So if you want to have a crack on ZoomX with me, you can see a nice little exchange, and they do isolated, they do cross positions, all those types of things. And that is that on AVAX and ZoomX. So I wanted to look at one more for you guys, and we haven't touched on this in a while, and this is Ondo. Now, Ondo, we know BlackRock power, okay? The big narrative behind this Ondo situation, and I think it's just a matter of time again when the market turns bullish, retail's going to come, and they're going to buy this Ondo, okay? BlackRock's not going to not let people buy this thing, okay? They're going to make sure people know about Ondo. And RWA play, massive one for me, and this is in my spot bags, and, lower prices equals more buyers for me on Ondo. At some point, this thing absolutely rips. And right now for me, watching actually a little bit lower on Ondo, 5667. Okay, watching 5667, looking for this type of structure, just like I've shown you on some of these others. 5667, hot zone for me. And then the same principle here, 0.50. Those are the areas there. That's where you're going to get these little nibble around zones and things like that. And we're just going to look at short-term little pushes up for things like Ondo. You can see in big picture, we actually in quite a big downtrend there. Okay, so we can't get too excited. We can't get euphoric, no matter what type of pump we have, until we start blowing these types of areas. Then we can start getting super euphoric on Ondo. Right now, short-term moves. If you're looking for leverage trades, short moves, quick TPs, raising stops. If you're looking for portfolio stuff, buying on these good zones, okay? Just add to your bags on these big levels lower down. At some point, one of these is going to be the bottom of these moves. And, you know, when the market turns super bullish again, Ondo, for me, bags are packed, okay? That thing is going. That thing is going to places. I've got one more for you from the comments. That was Pepe. If we can find it. Pepe. Where's Pepe? Where's Pepe? Where's Pepe? Pepe's gone. Pepe's gone. Where's Pepe? Okay, let's get Pepe up here. Okay, so guys, remember, drop your charts that you're looking for in the comments after the show. We'll cover as many as we can for you. And here is Pepe. You can see also downtrend. Remember, this is a play on each strength. Now, we know this is a meme coin. Yes, when the market turns bullish, meme coins recover pretty quickly. Okay, when the market is bearish, they sell pretty quickly. Okay, understand the game. And Pepe, ETH strength for me, this thing rips. Okay, if ETH turns bullish, Pepe is going to fly. And right now for me, you know, on the bigger picture, it's not looking that exciting, but we got the same principle as some of these other tokens at the moment. You can see Pepe is floating around the 618 here. Let's watch this region for structure here. Let's see if we can get some kind of break on Pepe. So this level is 736. Okay, watch that area. Look out for a little wick as well onto 686. Anything over there, that could also play out. But again, zoom in, okay? 15 minutes, 1 hour, those type of things. Look for that structure there. Eyes on BTC. What is BTC settling on? Is it settling on a nice big level while Pepe is sitting on a nice big level? And that is how you're going to time a lot of these positions. So Friday, I actually went on and on about these altcoins like 𝗕𝗓 and 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗕. They weren't on their corresponding zones just yet, and that's often a sign that they need to come lower. So just make sure you've got your eyes on BTC and they're tying in together. If BTC is dropping on a fib, try and make sure your other alt is dropping on a fib or a big horizontal zone. You'll find they generally tie in very nicely together. Guys, that's a wrap, okay? Monday, 52 minutes, smashed it. You got the whole setups, okay? You know the drill. You know what to do. I'm back tomorrow again. Let's see how these things play out. Catch you guys later.